copyrighted program created by the Rio Grande Oil Company.
Los Angeles Police calling all cars. Attention all cars. Broadcast 112. Be on the lookout for a burglar operating in the 77th Street district. This man leaves burned matches at the scene of his burglary. That's all. Rosenquist.
Have just been released showing sales of all gasoline in the Pacific Coast marketing area, including California and Arizona. One company leads all the rest, the Rio Grande Oil Company, with the largest percentage of increase in sales of any gasoline. Thanks to you who have taken our recommendation to use Rio Grande cracked gasoline, Rio Grande has just finished its most successful year. Sales of cracked gasoline have steadily increased, faster than any other gasoline. And on cracked gasoline alone, Rio Grande sales have increased 140%. One of the most amazing gains in gasoline history. This record is all the more remarkable when you realize that Rio Grande does not operate its own chain station. Rio Grande sales have increased because you motorists who want police car performance in your cars have purchased cracked gasoline from the independent dealer in your neighborhood. You have discovered that the exclusive patented cracking process makes Rio Grande cracked a livelier, faster, and more economical gasoline. And your repeat purchases have made Rio Grande the fastest growing oil company in the West. Now it is our great pleasure to present Chief James D. Davis of the Los Angeles Police Department. Chief Davis.
Good evening, friends. Your policeman is always on the spot. If he fails to do his duty as you think he should, you criticize him. On the other hand, if he does his duty as he is expected to, another part of the public will criticize him. In the story you're about to hear, a police officer actually placed himself at a disadvantage rather than be criticized for using undue force on a suspect. And he was compelled to take this course after several citizens had refused him the aid which it is every officer's right to expect from the individuals whose life and property he is sworn to protect. In cases of emergency, every conscientious citizen should stand ready to help the police rather than merely stand by and gape.
It is midnight of March 19th, 1931. Detective Emmett Jones, his late watchover, is driving home. At the corner of Figueroa and 65th Street, he waits for a red light. As the signal changes, a man steps out from the shadows and onto the running board of Jones' car. The detective turns, looks into the business end of a revolver 38.
Just a minute, buddy. Well, what do you want?
When will we have both?
Well, I've only got $13 on this.
Well, let's have it.
All right, just a minute. Let me get out of the car.
Now, you just stay where you are, buddy, and don't get nervous. Now, let's have that money.
Here you are.
Now, I'll just go through your other pocket. What's in this thing, your watch?
Yes.
I'll just take that, too.
No, you won't.
With a scream, the bandit plunges back into the shadows. Detective Jones in pursuit. But the officer, failing to find him, returns to his car, drives to a phone, reports to headquarters. Within 5 minutes, the radio car arrives, and after a
alley, dead.
Next morning, Detective Jones explains the situation to his superior.
He had his gun there all the time, see? When he started to kick me down and got hold of the watch chain, I knew if he pulled it out and saw my badge on one end of it, well, he'd let me have it. I took a long chance and shoved his gun away as I drew mine from my shoulder holster. It was either me or him.
You're quite right, Jones. You did the only thing you could do under the circumstances.
Yes, sir.
As a matter of fact, he was wanted.
You've got an identification on him?
Yes, I had. His name's Nelson. Wanted for holdup. Got a record that started with reform school when he was 15 years old. He done 2 stretches in Folsom by the time he was 25.
I understand he was an old hand. He went about the thing in such a business-like way.
I wouldn't be the least bit surprised if you had inadvertently caught the match burglar.
The match burglar? That's a new one on me. Who's he?
Well, we've been having a devil of a time with him out in the 77th Street Division. He burglarizes homes during the evening when people are apt to be out to the movies. He never uses a flashlight. He uses these big kitchen matches instead. Leaves a whole pile of burned ones after every job.
Well, if he's the guy I shot, I'd feel better about it.
Well, you don't have to have any pangs of conscience. He was a bad one anyway.
Sure, Captain, but you know how it is. You don't kill a man every day, and it makes you feel funny.
Well, make you feel any better. I had a talk with the guy's mother this morning. A nice old lady, respectable and law-abiding. She admitted to me that perhaps it was a good thing her son was dead, because he'd never given her a moment's peace of mind. He's been in trouble ever since he was able to walk. I guess he was just a bad one.
But the captain hopes that Nelson, the hold-up man with the match burglar, is a vain one. For the mysterious match burglar continues his depredations in the 77th Street Division. As night after night, and as many as half a dozen homes are burglarized and the lost property amounts in value to thousands and thousands of dollars, the citizens of the neighborhood clamor for immediate action. Captain Wallace, in charge of detectives at 77th Street, has Detective Jones and his partner, Detective D.R. Patton, transferred from Central to his command. On a day in April, the 2 men report for duty in the captain's office.
Boys, I'm short-handed out here, and I'd ask to have you transferred for one particular job.
What's that, Skipper?
A match burglar. We thought, Jones, that we had him when you had your run-in with that bird Nelson. But we were wrong. This monkey's pulled 20 jobs since then.
Oh, how's he work, Cap?
Well, we know mighty little about him, except that he burns matches instead of using a flashlight.
What's he steal?
Anything from change out of a kid's bank to sterling silver. He's not particular. He takes anything he gets his hands on.
You got any idea who he is?
No, Patton, I haven't. He never seems to leave prints. The only distinguishing identification we have on him are these confounded matches he lit the place up with.
Sounds like a tough nut to crack.
It is, but I'm counting on you two to do the job. Here are the burglary reports of more than 50 jobs. Look them over, boys, and see if you can get anything out of them. And you better work the 4 to midnight shift. This bird pulls most of his tricks between 7 and 9.
Okay, sir. We'll go to work on him right away.
And that night, as Jones and Patton pull over the burglary reports in the precinct station, Mr. and Mrs. Casper Whitefeather are walking along 69th Street on their way home from the movie. As they approach their home...
Well, I, for one, can understand why the wife in the picture left her home with that dancer fellow. He certainly knew how to make love, didn't he, Casper?
Yes, my dear.
But when that old fool of a husband started stepping out with those actresses, well, that was just disgusting, wasn't it, Casper?
Well, yes and no.
What do you mean, yes and no?
Well, there is such a thing as sauce for the goose and sauce for the gander.
Casper, you surprise me.
Yes, my dear.
Do you mean to say that you condone such conduct on the part of husbands? Why, if I thought for a minute that
Now, Myrtle, don't get excited. Remember, your complaint, you mustn't aggravate it.
You men are horrible. You have such feeble minds.
Yes, my dear. Here, I'll open the door. Just a minute, my dear, till I turn on the light. Now, here we are, my dear. Back home.
And a fine home it is with a husband who goes out with actresses.
Now, Myrtle, I never said that.
Well, you'd love to, so that's just as bad.
Myrtle, I never said that either. What?
Look, the desk.
Oh, what's the matter?
Oh, somebody's been in.
Oh, merciful heavens.
Oh, they stole the allowance you gave me this evening. It's gone.
And so the silver from the sideboard.
Oh, call the police, Casper.
Yes, my dear, at once. Well, what's the number, dear?
How did I know it? I don't know any policemen, even if you do know actresses.
Oh, Myrtle, at such a time as this, it isn't...
Well, get operators. Dial somebody. This bedroom's a find. They jumped all the drawers on the bed.
Oh.
Hurry, Casper. They might still be here. Hiding in the closet or something. Hurry.
Oh, yes, dear. Hello, operator. Look, something terrible happened. Burglar, get the police department. This is an emergency call.
Seventh Street. Jones speaking. Yes? Yes, sir. We'll be right over. Come on, Cap. We're going to see some action. What is it? Burglary.
Within 5 minutes, the two detectives pulled their police car to a screeching stop in front of a white-feather residence and entered the house.
Here's where they got in. Through this bedroom window in here.
You find any burned matches around the place?
Why, yes. Why?
I thought so.
Well, I don't see what they
Well,
are.
here's our chance to study our man's modus operandi at first hand. All right. Now, tell me, ma'am, have you disturbed anything?
Oh, heavens, no. It was just the way we found it when we came in. I was afraid the burglars are still in the house somewhere.
Little danger of that.
Well, maybe they're lurking in the backyard. Oh, I wish you'd make sure.
Okay, ma'am, if it'll make you feel any better. Take a look out back, will you? Yeah, sure.
Now, let's go out this window the same way our friend came in. Oh, does it have a screen on this window now?
Why, of course. Merciful days. You don't suppose he stole that, too?
No, I don't think so. Reckon I'll find it around back here somewhere. Oh, Jones,
Yes?
here's how he forced open the window. Looks like a half-inch jimmy.
That's what he used, all right. Well, you'd better get a look out back while I check the extent of the damage in here.
Okay.
Now, ma'am, can you make a list of the missing articles?
Well, I don't know. It's going to take some time to check up on things, and, well, I'm so upset and everything. I just...
What's all the fuss? What's the police car doing outside the house? We've been robbed, Henry. Robbed? Hey, you have at that. Hey, that fellow didn't fool, did he? This room looks like a Kansas cyclone to me.
No laughing matter, Henry Watson. If you come...
No, my dear. Don't get yourself upset. Oh, no, I'm sure it isn't any laughing matter. Only you've got to admit that this place looks sort of funny.
I don't see anything funny about it.
Casper, I was just on my way back to the movies, and I wondered what was the matter. That was all. Well, I got to get off, the missus is waiting outside for me. Come on.
Who's that man?
Our next-door neighbor.
Well, I found your screen, ma'am.
Where?
Out at the back of the lot.
Well, my...
Probably carried it back there to get a look up and down the alley to see if he was safe.
Yeah, I guess so. Well, you got many places in here?
Well, apparently the third dumps all the drawers on the bed, then takes what he likes. Mrs. Whitefellow can't tell how much has been taken yet.
Oh, I suppose you could give us the list by morning, ma'am.
Yes, I'll try to.
In the meantime, we better get the fingerprint man out here. Although I can't find any traces of prints. Can you, Jones?
Not a one. It certainly looks like a professional job.
Oh, just look at those burned matches on my clean floor. If I don't pick them up, they'll be ground into the carpet. There. Merciful heaven.
Oh, what is it, ma'am?
Right here, under the bed. Mr. Whitefeller's gun.
His gun under the bed?
Oh, I get it. Our burglar is an ex-convict.
How do you know?
Simple. He keeps the gun in one of the drawers, I suppose.
Why, yes. In his top drawer in the dresser.
So our friend finds it when he empties the drawer and immediately throws it under the bed out of reach.
What? But why? Now, I should imagine he'd want to use it, maybe. You know.
No, he was smart. He'd been caught armed while on the commission of a felony. He'd have 5 more years automatically tacked onto his sentence.
Oh, officer, I was just talking to the man who lives across the street, and he told me that about half an hour ago someone rang his bell. And when he answered the door, he saw a man walking away from the house in a big hurry.
Oh, so that's his gag, huh?
He rings the bell first to be sure there's no one at home. If he gets an answer, he scrams. And if he doesn't, he crashes in. Simple enough, isn't it?
Yeah, simple enough, all right. But it isn't going to be simple to catch this guy.
Why, what's the matter?
Well, so far as I can see, he just doesn't leave any clues. No fingerprints, nothing but these confounded matches.
Oh, Captain. Thanks, sir. Henry, what is it? I want to see those officers. Right here. Come in. So hold it.
Oh, thank heaven you haven't left yet.
Oh, what's the matter?
Well, when you get through here, I want you to come over to my house.
Why?
I've been robbed, too.
Armed with the notes and information gleaned from the two burglaries they have investigated, the two detectives sit down the next day to catch their criminal on paper.
Well, Pat, it looks to me as though this bird works in the neighborhood where you can find 3 or 4 houses in a group at a corner. And where there is an alley running behind him so he can make his getaway.
That's right.
Now we know that he's an old hand at the racket and probably an ex-con by the way he handled that gun. And the fact that he left no fingerprints.
Well, we know that he uses matches instead of a flashlight. That's about all we do know.
I'm not so sure about that. These robbery reports tell a lot.
Oh, what?
Well, they boil down to this. Our match burglar operates in the territory between Main and Avalon and from 95th Street to 65th Street. He seems to start from the southern end of this area and works in a northeasterly direction.
Yeah. Most of these jobs are pulled between 7:30 and 9 o'clock in the evening, while people are out to the movies.
Right. And look at these reports. That guy sure lost them over fast.
Yeah.
Look at this one last Tuesday. 5 jobs in an hour between Main and 89th and Avalon and 67.
He's a smart hombre, all right.
Yeah. But I've got a plan, and I think we'll stop him. Now, look. Here's a map of the district. And this circle I'm drawing roughly encloses the territory where our match burglar works.
Yeah.
We'll locate ourselves in a private house somewhere in the center of this territory. We'll have the radio cars notify as many people as they can to call in here as soon as they discover their houses have been burglarized. Then we'll have Pep Wallace relay the call to the house where we'll be waiting. As soon as we learn the location of the first job, we'll be able to guess approximately the location of the next house he'll take.
Well, sounds reasonable.
We'll give the boys in the cars a couple of days to put all the residents' wives, and then you and I'll get into old clothes and go to work.
Whose house will we stake out in?
Leave that to Captain Wallace. He knows everybody out in this neck of the woods. He'll find us a spot.
Allowing the detectives sufficient time to impress upon over 500 residents in the district the importance of reporting burglaries immediately, Jones and Patton carefully planned their strategy. Finally, clad in old clothes, they approached the house, which Captain Wallace had arranged for them to wait until the time is right for them to swing their trap.
Well, that's the 5th time I've rung this bell. You sure this is the right place?
This is the address the skipper gave me.
Sounds like they're coming now.
Somebody just peered through those curtains at us. Did you hear that? Yeah. That old boy work our turn if we aren't careful. Hey, we're not burglars. We're police officers. Captain Wallace sent us. Captain Wallace sent us.
I've seen some police officers wearing full uniform. How's the person to know?
Well, we wouldn't catch many crooks if we stayed in uniform all the time.
Oh, then you must be in disguise. Right. Let's take a look at this badge just to assure yourself that we're on the level.
Oh, sure. I have to be sure. Come on in. Hey. No. Sit down. Lena! Oh, Lena! Bring some of those pig snappers with a nice piece for the gentleman.
Mr. Heffel, that isn't necessary.
Oh, yeah, but for friends of Bert Wallace, nothing is too good.
Well, that's very kind of you, sir, but we may have to be leaving in a minute. We're just accepting your kind hospitality until we receive a call from the captain.
Yeah, so Bert told me. Something about this burglar, he said.
That's right.
That burglar is a bad one. Last week he robbed my neighbor's wife of a beautiful fur coat. Night before last he emptied the child's tank across the street. Tonight, maybe he comes to burglarize my house. Then I fool him, now. Yeah, the two policemen got him.
Well, he'd certainly get a hot reception if he tried to break in this place. He isn't likely to do that with all the lights on. Probably the captain already.
I answer it. Hello? Yeah, but they are here. Yeah, 60 minutes. I have let you talk to it. This was you fellas is showing.
I am.
Captain Wallace wants to speak.
Fine, thanks. Hello, Skipper. Yeah. Yeah? 841 East 84th Street. Yeah, okay. We'll get out there right away. Call if you need help. So long. Yeah, what is it, partner? Well, a night burglar just knocked over the house on 84th Street. And you have to pull the next one about 7 blocks further north. That'll be around 77th Street. I'll cover the likely spots between 80th and 75th. You cover them from here to 80th. Okay. Thanks a lot, Mr. Evans.
Good luck, boys. I hope you catch the fellow. Thanks. We'll do our best.
Huh? Come on, Doc.
Good night, boys. Good night. Good night.
That is gentleman gone. I have here already their picnickers and tea.
They couldn't wait, Lena. They have got to catch burglars tonight. Ah, what fine fellows those two are. You know, Lena, it's a lucky thing we got such fine fellows for policemen in this town.
Separating, the two detectives set out to cover the areas agreed upon. Detective Jones, proceeding on foot, comes upon a likely spot for a burglary on 76th Street, where an alley runs behind 4 or 5 dark houses. He waits in the black shadows of the alley 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes. He's about to give up his vigil as worthless when he sees a smaller shadow emerge from the huge dim bulk of the house. Steps cautiously into the alley. Jones rushes the cat-setting trespasser, but the man sees him and dashes between 2 houses and across the street. Taking up the chase once more, he runs into his party and meshed in a web of tangled clothesline in the backyard.
All right, guys. Come on, quiet down now.
What is this? Why are you chasing me?
Well, I'm a police officer. What were you doing behind that house?
Oh, I worked there when John was over there.
Oh, yeah? Well, I'll just take you down and see what you've got on you. No gun.
Oh, no, I have no gun.
Well, what's this? Your pants pocket stuffed with... Oh, pennies, dimes, and nickels. What have you been doing, robbing the kid's house?
Well, not exactly, you see.
Oh, and the other pants pocket. That's the kitchen napkin. You better come along with me.
But I do not understand. I have done nothing.
Come on. Quit the stalling. We'll just go into this house here and call a police car. Come along.
Oh, but Mr. Policeman, I am poor janitor. What do you arrest me for?
For about 50 or 60 burglaries.
No, it's not so.
All right. Pipe down till I get some assistance from the people in this house. Yeah? Well, pardon me, sir, but I'm a police officer. I just caught this man. I'd appreciate it if you'd let me use your telephone to call for a squad car.
You don't look like no copper to me.
Well, I can assure you that I am.
There's been a lot of burglars around here recently, and I ain't taking any chances.
Well, this is the man who pulled those jobs. I've just placed him under arrest.
That's an old dodge, too.
Well, if you won't let me face the call, will you do me a favor and call the 77th Street Station and ask them to send a car?
If you're a police officer, take him yourself. He's just a little guy. You're big enough to handle him.
Yeah, so that's the sort of cooperation you get from the citizen and taxpayer.
Hey, the man is right. You're not a policeman.
Yeah, come back here, you. Come back here, you man. Come back, I say. Yeah, so don't try to get away from these guys. They're not the wind out of you when I tackle you. Yeah, no, you don't. You just stay put and don't try to get away again.
You two wouldn't stop that fighting or I'll call the police.
Oh, yes, you would, madam, and tell him to hurry. Oh, she doesn't believe me either. That's Brennan's eye. Well, twist your arm.
Look, people are gathering around. They will call the police. Then where will you be? Don't bend my arm so. If you hurt me, my little boy will haunt you all of your life.
Look here, mister. What's out there sitting on a little fella? Let him go.
Now, listen. You look like a man with some intelligence. You look like a man with some intelligence. Will you please go to the nearest phone and call the police? No. I don't want to hurt this guy. And I'm not going to let him get away from me again.
I don't want to
don't mix up no private quarrel.
This isn't a private quarrel. I'm a police officer. My name's Everett Jones. I'm a detective at the 77th Street Station.
I'm going to know what I look behind me to pay for this. I will. To pay for this. I will.
Now, look here. Here's my gun. I don't want to use it on this guy. I could either shoot him in the foot or knock him out with a butt. And I don't want to take him that way. I don't want to hurt him. See? Here. I'll shoot it across the pavement to you. Now, you call the police car and keep the gun until they come.
Well, looks like a police car.
It is. It is.
You must be all right. You wouldn't give me your gun to hold.
I'm not kidding you. I'm everything I say I am. And I'm going to sit on this guy with this arm lock on him until somebody comes along and gives me assistance.
Okay, mister, you got me concerned. You won't have long to wait. I'll go and call the radio car right away.
At last, Jones receives his reinforcements, and securely manacled, the Mexican suspect is taken into headquarters, where he is immediately questioned by Captain Wallace, Jones, and Pat.
What's your name?
Jose Gomez.
Where do you live?
Over in Los Alamitos.
How come you've been operating over in this territory?
Well, what do you mean, operating? What do you mean, operating?
Pulling on these burglaries?
I didn't do no burglaries.
Listen, we've been looking for you for months.
You know you've been looking for me.
Well, we've been looking for a man who's been burglarizing the houses in this division. A man who's been using matches instead of a flashlight. We find you leaving a house on 77th Street with one pocket full of matches and the other pocket full of small change. The house you were leaving on 77th Street was burglarized tonight. The thief got the contents of the child's bank. And we find your pocket stuffed with pennies, dimes, and nickels. Looks to us as though you're the man we've been looking for.
I never did nothing wrong.
Well, let me put it this way. We were apprehended by an officer. He resisted him and attempted to escape from him. He was armed. You're lucky you're alive. Because Detective Jones here is one of the best shots in the department.
Oh?
Yeah. By the way, Jones, why didn't you use your gun on this fellow? You know you had every right to. What's that? I've been seeing it ever since I killed that guy last month.
You killed a man last month?
You sure did. Yet at the same time, you spared your life. You don't know how lucky you are. And still, you don't seem to want to be a good guy about it.
Well, Capitan.
Now, how about it? Let's hear your story.
Oh, all right, Capitan. This fellow here no shoot me. I shoot the worst. Good joke to make, huh?
Yes, yes, well. All right, Gomez, start talking.
I am the fellow you are looking for, Capitan. I did all those jobs. I am plenty smart Mexican fellow. I make lots of dinero robbing houses. I tell you all the places that I can.
Jose Gomez talked for hours, boasting of his cunning with the characteristic braggadocio of the criminal. In the end, Detective Emmett Jones was able to clear up 75 burglaries committed by this one individual. When he was brought to trial, Gomez pled guilty to 5 counts of burglary, but based his plea upon insanity. As a result, he was sent to the Mendocino State Hospital for the insane. This story might have had an unhappy ending had Jones not been able to handle the suspect after he had overpowered him. And if this had occurred, the blame would have been squarely with those citizens who refused to give him aid. It is your privilege, your obligation, and your duty to assist your police officers whenever necessary. A citizen failing to do so is not worthy of the right to be called citizen.
Thank you, Chief Davis. Ladies and gentlemen, police departments are more efficient today than ever before. It is almost impossible for a criminal to get away with it. especially if he tried to make his getaway in an automobile. More police cars are powered with Rio Grande cracked gasoline than any other brand, and these police cars have the greatest speed and power in history. Cities like Oakland, Los Angeles, Berkeley, and many other cities and counties are specifying Rio Grande cracked gasoline for all their emergency equipment, for fire engines, ambulances, motorcycles, as well as police cars. Official tests have proved beyond question that the patented Rio Grande cracking process produces the most powerful, the liveliest, and the most efficient gasoline on this market. Your neighborhood independent dealer sells you the same Rio Grande cracked gasoline these police emergency cars use. Be sure to get this month's copy of the free Calling All Cars News. Any Rio Grande gasoline dealer will give you one. You don't have to buy either cracked gasoline or Rio Grande's new G-Gas. Just walk or drive into your neighborhood Rio Grande station and get your free copy of this unique publication with its fascinating true detective stories and latest movie and radio news. This is your narrator, Frederick Lindsay.